So hello everybody, this is Bante Joe here, and I'm just here at a park in Ajax and thought to record a short Dhamma discussion for the internet. So I thought they could start with just a little meditation, so we can lean forward a bit and arch the spine and look about 3 feet in front and close our eyes. And can focus in on the breath, can know when it's coming in and know when it's going out. If we breathe in a long breath, can just know I'm breathing in a long breath. And if we breathe in a short breath, can just know I'm breathing in a short breath. And can focus on the breath at the tip of the nose. And can just pose the question in one's mind, what would be a really comfortable way to breathe right now? And then one can just let the body respond on its own. And if the mind wanders off to the past or the future, you can just bring it back to the present moment, to the breath. And before we finish meditating, can spread thoughts of goodwill, wishing may all beings all around everywhere be happy and at ease. May they put in place the causes necessary to be happy and at ease. And we can make the mind infinite, can make it unbounded, all the way to the ends of the universe and beyond, in every dimension. May all beings all around everywhere be happy and at ease. you can open our eyes and do a short Dhamma discussion for the internet. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Sanghaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Dutiyampi Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dutiyampi Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dutiyampi Sanghaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Tatiyampi Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Tatiyampi Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Tatiyampi Sanghaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. So hope that everybody is keeping well wherever it might be. And I was asked a question in the meditation, of this meditation, weekly one at the Mahavihara. And after the meditation, one fellow asked, he said, "What do you think is the biggest obstacle to people's progress in meditation?" One of the things is that everybody is a little different, so the obstacles that one person faces can be different than another person in kind, or in, you might say, like in the specifics, but in general they tend to share certain patterns. But like as far as like a large obstacle, like if one could say the biggest, it would depend on areas, right? One would have to be familiar with the area that one is speaking about. And the only places I've lived are basically Canada for long term, or Canada and Sri Lanka. So in terms of Canada, and I guess you might say like the North American meditation environment in general, is that one of the things is that many people come to meditation for like stress relief. And there's kind of, if they're lay people, and even some people may ordain as monks just to try to get some relief from their difficulties that they're facing, whatever those difficulties may be. So when a person sets out to meditate with the idea that they want to relieve their stress, then there's certain things that they're willing to give up in order to do that, and certain things that they don't want to give up. So the whole purpose in this case for them meditating is basically oftentimes people have an idea in their head. The background for this idea can come from Western notions of psychology. In other words, that there's something unbalanced in a person's mind, and if they balance it, then they'll be able to fully enjoy living in the modern world, or fully enjoy their job, or fully enjoy their one's relationships, or something like this. So of course there's a certain truth to this. If a person is like very evil, or not very evil, if they are a person who's drinking, or they have all these various gross bad habits, gross bad flaws, then this of course will block a person's ability to do their job, or a person's ability to have meaningful interactions with the people who are most important to them. They're, one's husbands or wives, one's mother and father, one's children, one's teachers, the monks and nuns, the religious people who are in one's life. If one has these gross bad flaws, they can inhibit one's ability to interact with those people. And also, if one's mind is always spinning, and one can't think clearly, one can't be at ease because one's mind is always off to the future, then whatever it is one does, that can inhibit one's ability to do one's job. That can inhibit one's ability to have meaningful relationships. So when people come to meditation with a goal of de-stressing, essentially the background goal that they have is they want to live fully the normal life. They want to be able to live their normal life in such a way that they'll be happy living it. So one of the things is that this will work up to a certain point. Up to a certain point, one will be meditating with these intentions to get rid of one's bad flaws, or usually works up to a certain point, get rid of these bad flaws. And also one will be meditating, trying to improve one's relationships. But there's also a tipping point in this, in that one of the important aspects for a person's meditation to improve is they have to have this intention of renunciation. They have to have this intention to give things up, to go further in their meditation practice. So the Buddha calls this intention the intention of renunciation. And basically what it does is it clears space in front for a person's meditation practice to grow. So one can imagine almost as if there was like, here there's some trees and things planted here. So where there's trees, there's houses behind, but one can't build houses where the trees are. So if one wants to build something, one has to clear the trees or clear the land, then one can build. Or even if one wants to plant something new, one wants to plant new trees or so, one has to clear the old ones away. So when a person sets out to meditate with this intention, I want to be de-stressed, it's a good intention in many ways, because one will find that one is eliminating things that were actually bad from one's life. One is, say, eliminating gross habits of, maybe one is breaking the 5 precepts in some way. One is maybe very harsh in one's speech, very hard, not gentle, or, speaking very frivolously, all these various things. And when one comes to meditate, seeing these big disadvantages that these things are having, then one finds that one's meditation goes well, and also that these bad qualities are falling away, that it's a support for one's life, that it's helping one in one's job, or that it's helping one with one's relationships, with one's partner, or one's kids, or whatever it might be. But then what one can find is that at a certain point, a person's meditation practice actually starts to push up against the things in one's life. So I remember, it's kind of a funny example, there was this one time when I was young, and I would meditate before everything. So, those days, I would often meditate before doing important things, because it seemed that meditation would help with tests, or help with personal relationships, whatever it might be. So I remember there was this one time I had this, I was supposed to meet this girl who I was interested in, and before meeting her, I tried to meditate a lot, or I tried to focus a lot. And trying really hard to focus, I found that when I went to see her, I didn't have much to say. It wasn't like I was more, spontaneous or anything like this. I was just more silent. So that situation actually didn't go as well, maybe as I'd hoped. So meditation in all these ways, it can help one, but then there's a certain point where one realizes that to go further, one has to actually start giving up some of the things that were the original purpose for which one started to meditate. So it's at this point, this is the tipping point, where a person's original goal to de-stress can be an obstacle to their moving forward in their meditation practice. And one starts to feel, whoa, what's going on here? I didn't know I had to give this up. And at that point, it can be a little bit scary. So unless one has a strong aspiration that one wants to meditate for a higher purpose, one wants to meditate for the sake of finding an end to suffering, one wants to meditate for the sake of nibbana, then at that point, one will be blocked. And if one doesn't decide to go any further, then one will find that one will often find that one's meditation can't really progress well. So this is because one needs to have this attitude of renunciation, the willingness to give things up in order to give more space to one's meditation, more space for one's spiritual life to grow. So with that in mind, probably one of the biggest obstacles for people in the Western world that at the present time is also one of the biggest draws to meditation. The draw to meditation is that it can de-stress. But the paradox is that this goal of de-stressing can put blocks in one's path to finding higher levels of happiness that don't line up with one's original goals to get better at one's job, or to, be funnier in one's interactions with people, or whatever it might be. So the solution to this is that if a person makes a firm determination, or a person decides, I want to do this for the sake of nibbana. And to do this, one has to realize, one has to pay close attention when one's meditating and see for oneself that, wait a minute, this practice, what I'm doing, this path that I'm going along, this is giving me more happiness than I was getting from my job. This is giving me more happiness than I was getting from trying to manipulate these relationships. Not manipulate in an evil way, but to fine-tune these relationships. So if one is very honest in watching this, then it can become easier for one to make this sincere aspiration. Because it's clear that the benefits of this path far outweigh the purpose for which one originally undertook meditation. So, with this in mind, meditation has both these, the biggest obstacle of meditation also is maybe its biggest draw. And one can use that. One can practice in such a way that one is trying to de-stress, and one can notice if that's having good effects. But then one also has to be very honest and pay close attention. How much benefit is this giving me? Is this giving me a lot of benefit? Because if the time comes when one starts to butt up against things that one is scared to give up, if one can really see the benefits, then that's when one can make these sincere aspirations. And this is when one can clear away things that are difficult for one to clear away, to give up things that are difficult for one to give up, and to move forward on the Buddhist path to Nibbana.